Hey, this is Noah. I wish I had been at home to watch these, but SEGA showed off some new trailers for Sonic Superstars and Sonic Frontiers. They look very nice, but there's a couple of things in these trailers that I'm particularly interested in. The Sonic Superstars one is cute, and it has mostly a focus on multiplayer, but there's a bit in here. First of all, the the mecha knowledge, like they've got a bit in there where you can see clearly this is Metal Knuckles. I don't know if you can see it very well. We got Sonic R mentioned. Very nice. The trailer does a good job of showing what the multiplayer is going to be like in terms of speed, which I think is something that's on most people's minds regarding it. When you have the multiplayer in like the new Super Mario Bros. Games, it's a very slower paced game, so it's okay to have the multiplayer, but with Sonic, you're wanting to whip through it as fast as possible. Trying to play it with more than one person seems like a hassle. The battle mode with the split screen seems like a wise decision, and I'm wondering if the same thing will apply in the co-op for normal levels. But in the digital deluxe edition stuff here, we get our first look at the Lego skins as previously mentioned. To be clear, previously we'd only seen that Eggman is getting a skin, which as initial reveal is confusing. You're telling me that Eggman, the antagonist, is getting a Lego skin? That's weird, but alright. But now we have a bit of a look here at the other characters. Weirdly enough, not showing Sonic, but I assume, of course, that he is included in that, especially since he was in the initial teaser for the Lego thing. Silver Sonic mentioned, based. But this rabbit right here. For those who don't know, and admittedly, if you're on Twitter, you probably found out because of this. This is a beta design for Sonic. As Sonic was being made, there was many iterations of different ideas of characters that they would use in his place. Even at one point, a famous idea was that Eggman's original design was actually for the protagonist. So at one point, our protagonist was going to be Eggman. Or what appears to be Eggman now, rather. So, with this skin, you can now make Sonic look like his old beta design. And that's pretty based. A very deep cut. Something like this, 5, even maybe 3 years ago, I would have anticipated being a feature in like a gallery mode in a Sonic game, just like showing more concept art, not making a skin out of it. That's kind of insane. And personally, I blame the guy in charge of this game since he was one of the people that worked on the first games, and this is probably still in his office. So that's cool. And then, if I can get this open, we have the trailer for Sonic Frontiers. There's not a lot of stuff to talk about here. Somebody on Twitter highlighted Sage now has shoes, which I'm gonna take that the wholesome direction and be like, Eggman is a dad and gave his daughter shoes. Based. But we have a look here at what appears to be a revamped version of the final boss. And if we're tying this into any of the leaks that happened, spoiler alert, I guess, in theory, is a big leak suggests that essentially this last DLC is just a complete overhaul of like the last part of the game. The last island, which was stripped down to just those tower things, actually making it a proper island, the final boss much more threatening, devastating, Sonic getting a unique form for the game as per the protocol, and being able to play as the other three characters, obviously. From this trailer, what I hope to see is one, I kind of hope that when you play as the other three, they don't look like they're sort of half their holographic hologram look. That's just a personal gripe. Second, some people are criticizing the potential that this new form that Sonic would be achieving is essentially just a blue-eyed version of Super Sonic. Now, let me be clear. Personally, I think it would be fine. Because, essentially, as many people on social media have already pointed out, it's Super Sonic 2! And I'm fine with that. Would I like a more elaborate form? Sure. But I'm in the camp that I would prefer something like Hypersonic making a return. The game seems to set this up in the form of having Super Sonic be the necessary form to defeat all of the basic enemies, or the basic bosses. So getting to the final boss, you would think a higher form needs to be attained. I'm personally not a huge fan of the elaborate forms that are created for the games individually, like Dark Spine Sonic, Excalibur Sonic, especially some of them that are in the comics like Chaos Sonic. I would prefer that for this case, because this is just a mainline entry, not some spin-off game, that Sonic just achieve a higher form that he will essentially just have access to or have had previous access to, as opposed to something that's going to be a one-off. But I get it. I've read the interviews. I know that they don't necessarily want to invoke some power creep by having Sonic achieve a form that is justified as a one-time thing through the in-game sort of lore. It's less likely to become a problem. Only maybe becoming a problem if you decide to do yet another round of death battle between Sonic and Mario, where now we're going to call upon every single instance of lore that the character has to offer. I digress. That being said, if you literally just have a heightened version of Super Sonic that is marginally different, it's similar in essence to like what I would want. And given that the super forms in their basic concept were very seriously just taken from Dragon Ball, having higher super forms that are just slightly different versions, I'm used to this concept. I'm not going to get upset about it. Many people might, but I'm not going to be one of them. I just think it would be very funny if, so long as we're making Sonic into a shonen anime protagonist with some of the over-the-top things that he does in Sonic Frontiers as a super form, if we're just going to throw it all out the window and make it as unabashed, unashamed, moistened, in my lane, as to just literally rip Super Sonic 2. I won't be mad. I promise. Some people think that this is just like a teaser for a yet-to-be-revealed, more elaborate new design for a new form. Like maybe he will have a much more different look than just the blue eyes. And I might be in that boat too, because it would be kind of strange to have this close-up look on the character with the new form on display fully, when something like that seems like it would be a big reveal that should only be revealed when you finish this DLC. So, for now, my money is on that's what this is going to be. It's going to be a more elaborate design. They're probably not going to fully reveal that until maybe after the release. And at the same time, this satisfies their previous things, because if it is, as the leaks suggest, a sort of cyber Sonic thing, a thing that seemed to have been teased in the story of Sonic Frontiers prior to this DLC, that gives them their excuse for their one-off transformation. But I still want to see be able to do a super transformation with the other three, and I will not take no for an answer. Give me Super Knuckles. Matter of fact, as long as we're at the wishing well, it would be cool as if with this new form, if this new form could be done by all the other ones as well. Because what I wonder is if it is directly tied to Sonic's new abilities in the game related to cyberspace. When the other three become playable, will they have access to these basic functions like the side loop and the other cyberspace-related abilities? Will they have their own? Time will tell. What do you guys think of this trailer? Both of them. Do you want to see Super Cyber Knuckles 2 remixed? Let me know in the comments below. This is Noah. Sonic Superstars, Sonic Frontiers. See ya.